The stars had always been a source of wonder for humans. Long after they had spread beyond their home planet, humans never lost their fascination with the universe. Space stations floated gracefully around gas giants, and colonies sparkled like tiny jewels on distant planets. Humanity had grown quietly, patiently, and with a sense of curiosity that even the Galactic Empire, vast and powerful, had often dismissed as naive. Alara Kane stood on the observation deck of the Stellar Research Hub, her gaze fixed on the golden sun of her home system. She was young, only 30, but her mind held more questions than most people could ask in a lifetime. She loved the silence of space, where thoughts could flow freely without interruption, and today, her thoughts were racing faster than ever. "Professor Kane," called a voice behind her. It was Dr. Rylan Tess, her colleague and longtime friend. "You'll want to see this." Alara turned to see Rylan holding a small, metallic device, old and worn, yet humming with a quiet energy. It had been discovered buried deep beneath the crust of a distant human colony. The symbols etched into its surface were unmistakably human, ancient, but not from any known timeline. "What is it?" Alara asked, her voice a mixture of awe and curiosity. Rylan smiled. "I think it's what humans were always meant to build. It's star energy, Alara. Real, controlled, star energy." Alara felt a shiver run down her spine. Star energy was the kind of power humans had only dreamed of harnessing safely. The Galactic Empire used massive fleets and technology to control planets. But this could change everything. They worked tirelessly, day and night, analyzing the device, learning its secrets. Slowly, the mechanism revealed its purpose. It could channel energy from a star and convert it into a controlled force, not destructive, not explosive, but immense, stable, and sustainable. A power source that could fuel ships, colonies, and defenses beyond imagination. News of their discovery spread quietly through human space. Leaders of the Council of Terra, the governing body of human colonies, called a secret meeting. Alara and Rylan presented their findings. "This is more than energy," Alara explained. "It's a message. If we use this wisely, we can protect our colonies, advance our technology, and show the galaxy that humans are not weak." The council listened, a mixture of excitement and concern in their eyes. Some were cautious, some were skeptical, but all understood one thing. The Galactic Empire, vast and arrogant, had long looked at humanity as a minor species. They underestimated human curiosity, ingenuity, and unity. That perception was about to change. Meanwhile, in the far reaches of human space, the Empire noticed human colonies growing stronger. Fleets moved, ambassadors traveled, and spies reported on human activity. They assumed humans were still too small, too disorganized, to pose any real threat. Yet, on Earth's oldest colony, a quiet signal began to pulse. It was not a threat. It was not a weapon. It was a demonstration, a controlled release of star energy, a light show visible across the system, and even detectable by faraway Imperial sensors. The message was clear. Humans are awake, humans are united, and humans are prepared. Alara watched the lights dance across the sky. The energy was beautiful, almost alive. It reflected in the eyes of every council member, every scientist, every citizen who had the privilege to witness it. Humans had done what no one expected. They had taken the power of the stars and made it theirs. In the midst of this excitement, Rylan approached her. "Do you think the Empire will notice?" "They will," Alara said, her voice calm but firm. "And they will underestimate it. That is when humans will surprise them." Across the galaxy, the Empire did indeed take notice. Lord Vexar, one of the Empire's highest-ranking officials, studied the readings from human space. "Curious," he muttered. "The humans are active, but they are small, insignificant. This display is meaningless." Yet, for the first time, even he felt a twinge of uncertainty. Humans were doing something different, something unexpected. They were not building fleets or weapons. They were building knowledge, unity, and control over forces that the Empire barely understood. Back on the Stellar Research Hub, Ilara and Rylan began designing ships and stations that could utilize the star energy safely. They worked with engineers, pilots, and logisticians from across human space. Each colony contributed, each mind added its strength, and slowly, a network of energy-powered defenses began to take shape. But it was not just about power, it was about identity. Humans had always faced challenges. Natural disasters, harsh planets, and long journeys across space had tested them. Yet, humanity had never given up. They had learned to adapt, to cooperate, and to innovate. Now, the universe would see what that spirit truly meant. One evening, as Ilara reviewed schematics, she looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Imperial fleet was moving, confident in their superiority. They believed humans could be controlled, ignored, or even removed without consequence. Ilara whispered softly to herself, "We are ready. And when they arrive, they will see humans are not what they thought." Days later, the first Imperial scout ships appeared at the edge of human space. They moved slowly, observing, scanning, sending data back to the Empire. Humans watched them with quiet patience. They did not panic. They did not attack. They prepared. The Council of Terra issued instructions. All colonies must remain calm. Show progress. Show unity. But do not provoke. The message to the Empire would be clear but subtle. Humans were ready to defend themselves, but not through force. They would defend with intelligence, with ingenuity, and with the power of stars in their hands. Ilara oversaw a demonstration at the largest human colony. Drones floated above the city, powered entirely by the new star energy system. Buildings glowed with lights, fueled by the energy of their own sun. Agricultural systems operated without interruption. Even the atmosphere above the planet shimmered as energy flowed invisibly but effectively, sustaining life and civilization. It was a quiet revolution, and it was visible across space. Imperial sensors picked up the energy readings and transmitted them back to Vexar. He frowned. Something was different. Humans were evolving, not in the way the Empire did, through conquest or technology alone, but through unity, adaptability, and understanding. Ilara felt a deep satisfaction. "This is only the beginning," she said to Rylan. "One day, the Empire will see us. Not as subjects, not as children, but as equals. Or maybe, as something more." The next few weeks were tense, but calm. Humans continued to expand their energy systems, improve their ships, and communicate across colonies. And then came the moment they had been waiting for, a visible signal across human space, designed to reach Imperial territory. A pulse of light so strong it could be detected across multiple star systems. It was a warning. Not in words, but in meaning. Humans were awake. Humans were united. And humanity had power. Power not to destroy, but to defend. Power that demanded recognition. Lord Vexar received the message in his council chamber. He stared at the readings, his expression unreadable. "Curious," he said again. But this time, there was more than curiosity, there was respect, and a faint, unspoken understanding that humans were no longer to be underestimated. Ilara watched from her observation deck as the pulse faded into the distance. She knew the Empire had seen it. She knew they would respond. But she also knew one thing. Humans had changed, quietly, patiently, and profoundly. And when the Empire arrived, they would see humans differently than ever before. The stars outside twinkled, silent witnesses to the awakening of humanity. And humanity, for the first time in its history, was ready to claim its place among the stars, not with fear, not with force, but with intelligence, unity, and courage. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long. That mistake was about to be corrected. The stars were quiet that morning, but human space was buzzing with activity. Every colony had received news that Imperial scouts had passed the outer borders and would soon send an envoy. The message was clear. The Galactic Empire had noticed humanity's display of energy, and curiosity had turned into attention. Elara Kane stood once again on the observation deck of the Stellar Research Hub. Her gaze swept across the distant planets of human space. Each one gleamed with activity, powered by the new star energy systems. The colonies were calm, productive, and vibrant. Humans were alive and thriving, and the Empire could see it. Ryland Tess joined her, holding a tablet filled with sensor readings from the approaching Imperial envoy. "They're close," he said quietly, "and I think they don't know what to expect." Elara nodded. "Good. Let them underestimate us. That is how humans always win, through surprise, through intelligence, and through preparation." Meanwhile, in the Imperial Council chambers, Lord Vexar studied the human signal with a mix of skepticism and intrigue. He had seen fleets, planets, and technologies. Yet what humans had done did not fit into his expectations. They had not built massive weapons. They had not attempted to conquer neighboring systems. Instead, they had built efficiency, beauty, and power that could protect themselves effortlessly. "We cannot ignore them," Vexar said to the council. "Their energy readings are extraordinary. Their colonies are thriving. I recommend a formal visit. We must understand them before deciding any action." Some council members scoffed. "They are humans. Small, unimportant. Curiosity is harmless." Vexar did not answer. He knew curiosity alone could be deadly if guided by intelligence. And humans, he realized, had intelligence and unity that the Empire had never considered. Back in human space, the Council prepared for the Imperial visit. Humans were not afraid. Fear was not a part of their strategy. Instead, they relied on planning, knowledge, and the ability to think differently. Elara and Rylan worked on demonstrations that would subtly show humans' technological mastery without aggression. The first meeting with the Imperial envoy was scheduled on Novara Prime, a human colony known for its scientific achievements. Ambassador ships glided into orbit, sleek and imposing, but entirely empty of threat. Lord Vexar stepped onto the colony's central platform. Humans greeted him calmly. Children played nearby. Robots worked quietly, and energy-powered transport vehicles moved smoothly across the city. Nothing suggested tension or fear. Elara approached him, extending a hand in greeting. "Welcome to Novara Prime, Lord Vexar," she said, her voice steady. "We are pleased you could visit." Vexar looked around, impressed despite himself. "Your colonies are efficient," he said carefully. "And your energy readings extraordinary." Elara nodded. "We have discovered a way to harness star energy safely. It sustains our colonies, powers our systems, and ensures our people can thrive. We offer you a demonstration." Without delay, she led Vexar to the central energy hub, where a massive chamber contained a controlled energy core, drawing power directly from the star. Beams of golden light danced across the walls, reflecting off polished surfaces, flowing into storage conduits, and powering ships, factories, and research facilities instantly. Vexar stepped back, his expression unreadable. He had expected demonstrations of power, maybe a threat. Instead, he saw stability, intelligence, and harmony. "This is remarkable," he admitted. "But why show this to me?" Elara smiled. "Because we want you to understand humans differently. We do not seek conflict, but we will protect our people. Our message is simple. Any harm to our colonies will not succeed. We can defend ourselves in ways you cannot imagine. Not with weapons, but with intelligence, unity, and ingenuity." Vexar studied her carefully. "You intend this as a warning?" "Not a threat," Elara corrected. "A warning is different. It is information. It allows the other side to make a choice. We offer the Empire a choice. Respect our space and our people, or face the consequences of underestimating humans." For hours, they toured the colony. Vexor observed humans working together, solving complex problems, and using the star energy to improve life for everyone. He saw automated farms providing food for millions, medical centers operating with precision, and energy systems stabilizing entire planets. Humans were not warriors. They were creators, thinkers, problem solvers, and they were capable of defending themselves in ways that could confound even the Empire's most advanced strategies. Later, in the council chamber, Ilara and her team reviewed the visit. They had achieved exactly what they hoped. Vexar had seen humans at their best, calm and capable, united in purpose. Rylan smiled. Do you think he will return to the Empire and report accurately? Ilara's gaze remained on the stars. He will. And the Empire will have to consider us differently. They cannot unsee what they have witnessed. As predicted, Imperial reports poured in. Vexar described human colonies as thriving, organized, and intelligent beyond expectations. Some council members argued for dismissal. They insisted humans were still small and could not pose a real challenge. But even the skeptics had to admit, humans were not ordinary. Back on Novara Prime, the Council of Terra decided it was time to send a direct message. A carefully designed broadcast used both energy signals and encrypted communications to reach Imperial space. It was a simple message. Humans are awake, humans are united, and humans can protect their colonies efficiently. The broadcast was not threatening. It did not boast of power. It simply demonstrated it through visible energy pulses, automated systems, and the ability to maintain perfect harmony across colonies. The message was clear. Humans are prepared, intelligent, and cooperative. Do not underestimate us. In the Empire, Vexar convened a meeting with military and political leaders. He presented the human demonstration. They are not aggressive, he said, but they are clever. They are united. And they can protect themselves in ways we did not expect. We cannot approach them with the usual arrogance. Some laughed. They are only humans. We could overwhelm them with fleets if necessary. Vexar shook his head. Perhaps. But that would be unnecessary. Humans do not rely on fleets alone. Their ingenuity, coordination, and control over energy systems make conventional force ineffective. We must find another approach, an approach of respect, observation, and negotiation. Meanwhile, humans continued to advance quietly. Colonies built new research stations, improved energy distribution, and expanded cooperative networks. They even began assisting nearby systems facing natural disasters, showing that humans did not only think of themselves, they could be allies, innovators, and helpers on a galactic scale. Ilara observed all of this with satisfaction. Humanity had shown the galaxy its strength not through destruction, but through intelligence, creativity, and unity. Every demonstration, every innovation, was a lesson to the Empire. Humans were rising, and rising with dignity. Vexar, reluctantly impressed, began to understand something he had never considered. Humans were unpredictable, but not because they were reckless. They were unpredictable because they solved problems differently, adapted quickly, and acted with purpose. The Empire debated quietly. Some wanted to continue observing humans. Some argued for alliances instead of conflict. But one thing became clear. Humanity could not be ignored. Back on Novara Prime, Ilara prepared a final demonstration before the envoy departed. The energy core pulsed with light, sending signals across space. It was visible across multiple systems, a radiant display of coordination, planning, and potential. This is our message, Ilara told Vexar. We do not seek conflict, but we are ready to defend our people. You may choose your response wisely. Vexar nodded, finally understanding the depth of humanity's warning. He had come expecting curiosity. Instead, he had found intelligence, unity, and capability, and a species that could change the balance of the galaxy without ever lifting a weapon. As the Imperial ships departed, the human colonies returned to their quiet work. Humans did not celebrate. They did not boast. They simply continued to create, to improve, and to grow stronger. Ilara looked out at the stars, feeling a quiet satisfaction. Humanity had made its presence known. They had issued a warning, and the Empire had listened, not with fear, but with the realization that humans were no longer ordinary. And in that realization lay the true power of humanity. Not weapons, not fleets, not fear, but intelligence, unity, and the courage to act with purpose. The stars twinkled as the message spread silently across the galaxy. Humans are awake. Humans are ready. Humans will not be underestimated. And somewhere deep in Imperial space, Lord Vexar began to understand the truth. The galaxy had changed. Humans had risen, not through force, but through brilliance. The question now was simple. Would the Empire choose respect, or continue to underestimate the humans? The galaxy was vast. But for humanity, every star now felt within reach. After the Imperial envoy left, word of human capability spread quietly but steadily. Colonies hummed with activity, powered by the harnessed energy of stars. Humanity had made its warning clear. They were awake, united, and capable. Ilara Kane walked through the corridors of the Central Council Hall on Terra, the heart of human space. Representatives from dozens of colonies had gathered, their faces calm but alert. There was no panic in the room, only determination. Reports from nearby systems? Ilara asked. Rylan Tess stepped forward, holding a tablet filled with data. The Empire is debating. Some fleets remain at the border, observing. Others are beginning discussions about alliances rather than conflict. Our message has been received. Clearly they are reconsidering their approach. Ilara smiled faintly. Humans have always been underestimated. Now, the galaxy is beginning to see what we truly are. Meanwhile, deep within the Empire, the debate was intense. Some leaders argued that humans were a minor species, small and irrelevant. Others had seen the data from Novara Prime and the following broadcasts. They could not deny the brilliance and unity of human colonies, nor could they ignore the ability of humans to harness star energy in ways the Empire itself had not anticipated. Lord Vexar, now a central figure in the debate, spoke firmly. Humans are not a threat in the traditional sense. They do not attack, they do not conquer. But they are clever, resourceful, and united. They can defend themselves against forces far greater than their size would suggest. Ignoring them would be a mistake. Some council members frowned. Are we to respect them simply because they are intelligent? They are still small. A minor species. Vexar shook his head. Respect is not given because of size or strength alone. Respect is given because underestimation can be far more dangerous than confrontation. Humans have shown unity, foresight, and ingenuity that surpasses their numbers. They deserve recognition, not dismissal. Back in human space, the Council of Terra continued its work. Humans were not idle. They continued to improve colonies, share knowledge, and extend aid to nearby systems affected by natural phenomena. Droughts were mitigated, energy shortages solved, and colonies rebuilt after storms. Every act demonstrated that humans were not only capable, but also benevolent. Ilara knew the true power of humanity was not in technology alone. It was in unity, intelligence, and compassion. That combination made them unpredictable, formidable, and respected. One day, as the sun set over the oceans of Terra, Ilara and Rylan received a transmission. It was from Lord Vexar. Professor Kane, I wish to speak with your council. The message read, It is time we discuss the future. Not as observers or conquerors, but as partners. The Council of Terra convened immediately. Ambassadors from human colonies, scientists, and administrators gathered. The message from the Empire was clear. The galaxy recognized humans, not as a minor species, but as a civilization worthy of attention, respect, and dialogue. Ilara stepped forward to address the council. This is what we have been working toward. Not conflict. Not fear. But understanding. The Empire has seen humans at our best, and now they wish to engage. How we respond will define humanity's place in the galaxy. Council members nodded. We will respond with openness, clarity, and intelligence, said one elder. We will not seek dominance. But neither will we yield our sovereignty. The response was carefully prepared. Humans invited the Empire to visit multiple colonies, to witness further demonstrations of human ingenuity, governance, and harmony. The message was subtle but unmistakable. Humans were powerful, united, and benevolent. Any attempt to exploit or harm them would fail, not because of aggression, but because of intelligence, foresight, and cooperation. The Empire accepted the invitation. Over the following weeks, imperial delegations traveled to several human colonies. Each visit revealed more of humanity's capability. Cities powered by star energy, operating efficiently and sustainably. Automated systems that repaired themselves, ensuring life and productivity continued uninterrupted. Agricultural systems that could sustain millions while restoring environmental balance. Medical centers that used technology and human skill to save lives across colonies. Every demonstration reinforced the message. Humans were intelligent, cooperative, and prepared. They were a civilization that others could learn from, and one that could not be underestimated. Lord Vexar observed quietly, recording each detail. He began to realize that humans had mastered something the Empire had often overlooked: balance. They combined technology with wisdom, progress with compassion, and strength with patience. They were a species capable of leading not by force, but by example. One evening, after the delegation departed, Elara addressed the council once more. The Empire is beginning to understand humans, but our work is not done. We must continue to improve, to share knowledge, and to extend our influence through wisdom, not domination. This is what makes humanity unique and respected. In the following months, humans and the Empire negotiated agreements. Trade, scientific collaboration, and cultural exchanges began. Humans offered assistance to systems affected by natural disasters, sharing energy technology and expertise. The Empire recognized the value of human innovation and the importance of cooperation. Yet humanity remained humble. There were no displays of arrogance, no boasting of power. Humans simply acted, solved problems, and improved life for all. That quiet confidence, combined with undeniable capability, earned them the respect of the galaxy. Elara walked through one of the newest colonies, watching children play near energy-powered fountains and robots assisting farmers in the fields. She paused and looked up at the stars, thinking of the journey humanity had taken. From a small, underestimated species to a civilization recognized across multiple star systems, humanity had proven its worth not through aggression or fear, but through intelligence, unity, and moral courage. Rylan joined her. Do you think they truly understand us now? He asked. Elara smiled. They do, and more importantly, they will never forget it. Humans have shown the galaxy that true strength comes from cooperation, intelligence, and courage. That is our gift, and our power. News of the diplomatic success reached every human colony. Humans celebrated not with conflict, but with pride in their unity, creativity, and capability. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a species that could not be ignored, not because of fear, but because of respect earned through action and wisdom. Meanwhile, in the Empire, Vexar prepared a report for the High Council. Humans are not a threat in the traditional sense, he wrote. They are a species of intellect, unity, and benevolence. Any attempt to underestimate or dominate them would be both unwise and unnecessary. They have earned a place among the galactic civilizations through their actions, not their weapons. Back on Terra, Elara looked out at the stars one last time that day. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and opportunities. Humans had shown that they could meet those challenges, not with fear or violence, but with intelligence, adaptability, and moral courage. And somewhere in the distance, among the stars and colonies of human space, humanity's presence was clear. They had sent their warning. They had proven their worth, and now, the galaxy would see humans not as weak, not as naive, but as equals creative, capable, and unstoppable in their pursuit of knowledge, harmony, and progress. Alara felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The journey was far from over, but humanity had taken the first step toward a new era. An era where humans were no longer underestimated, an era where their ingenuity, compassion, and unity would guide them through the stars. And in that era, the Galactic Empire and all civilizations of the galaxy would come to recognize what humans had always known. Humans rise not through force, but through intelligence, unity, and courage. The stars twinkled above, as if in agreement. Humanity had sent its message. And this time, the galaxy had listened. Humans had won not with weapons, but with the greatest power of all, their spirit.